Hello, friends. The 918 days of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. In the Pokrovsk direction, the Russians continue to develop an offensive that the Ukrainian armed forces have not yet been able to stop. From the east, they have already entered the city of Siladovi. The military telegram channel Deep State reported that the Russian flag has already appeared on the administrative buildings of the Kotlyarevsk mine. The fighting is already continuing on the outskirts of the city. The situation is difficult and out of control, Deep State wrote. Russian telegram channels claim that the fighting is taking place in the center of Siladovi, where high-rise buildings are located. Ukrainian military personnel write in their telegram channels that the situation in Siladovi is not the same as in Novogradivka, which fell in 3 days, and that the defense in Siladovi is being held more steadfastly. But they admit that the situation is very difficult. At the same time, they write about the capture of a dominant height by the Russians, a waste heap in Mikhailivka. Also, Ukrainian military and Russian telegram channels write about the advance of Russians in Gradivka on the northwestern face of the Russian offensive near Pokrovsk. On the southeastern face, Russian troops are advancing towards the village of Halotsinivka, which threatens the operational encirclement of Ukrainian units in Karlivka, which still hold a strong fortified area there. The 46th Brigade's telegram channel writes that, given the usual tactics of the Russians, Siladovi should have been stormed by converging attacks from Novogradivka and Mikhailivka. The first strike cut off the road to the city, the second provided coverage from the south. But the Russians preferred to immediately break into the city, and the fighting is already taking place in the eastern quarters of the city. There are two options here. Firstly, either they encountered stubborn resistance on the flanks in the area of Novogradivka and Mikhailivka, and were forced to attack the city buildings in order not to lose momentum. Secondly, or according to their data, the city's defense was weaker than the flanks, and the Russians deliberately launched the main attack here. Judging by the fact that the Russians have passed the waste heap and the fighting is already taking place near the stadium and Gagalia Street, the conclusion suggests itself, the 46th Brigade's telegram channel writes. Today, the Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Stelmakivka in the Svatovi section of the Kharkiv direction. Ukraine has not confirmed this. The Deep State map indicates that Russian troops are on the eastern outskirts of the village. Stelmakivka is a village fortified by the Ukrainian armed forces, and fighting for it has been going on for quite some time. The Russians are trying to advance through this settlement to the Osko River. Previously, they had made significant progress to the north, in the Pischany area. Also today, Russian telegram channels published a video of the hanging of the Russian flag in the village of Sinkivka, in the Kupiansk section of the Kharkiv direction. This is the largest fortified area of the Ukrainian army near Kupiansk. A number of Russian military telegram channels write that the village has already been captured. Other Russian publics report that their army has taken control of only part of Sinkivka, where the flag is hung. The Ukrainian military telegram channel Deep State confirms the entry of Russians into the village and the hanging of a flag in a house on the outskirts. But overall, according to the telegram channel, Sinkivka remains under the control of the Ukrainian armed forces. And no significant changes in the situation were recorded in the Kursk region. According to estimates by Russian military telegram channels, and they are the only ones currently providing detailed coverage of events in the Kursk region, there is almost no information coming from the Ukrainian side. The situation there is tending to stabilize, although the Ukrainian armed forces continue to attack, especially in the northern direction. But there are no new major breakthroughs at the moment. And in some places, the Russians are counterattacking. In particular, the Russians claim that they have repelled an attempt by the Ukrainian armed forces to bypass the important settlement of Korenivo from the northeast and pushed back the Ukrainian units from there. When the material was already ready, Ukrainian military expert Petrenko reported that north of Ruskoye Porchnoye, the Ukrainian armed forces have advanced to a depth of 2.1 kilometers, where fighting continues in the Nizhnaya Perovaya area. Today, the Wall Street Journal, citing U.S. officials, reported that one of the 6 F-16 fighters transferred to Ukraine crashed during a Russian missile attack on Monday. Initial data indicates that the plane was not shot down by Russian fire, although the incident occurred during the shelling, the publication wrote. Later, CNN also reported the loss of the F-16 and that the plane was piloted by Lutsk pilot Oleksiy Mes. I note that yesterday the Lutsk City Council reported the death of pilot Lieutenant Colonel Mes during a combat mission on Monday. Earlier, the press service of the 144th Fighter Wing of the U.S. Air National Guard reported that Mes was undergoing F-16 training in the States. In the evening, the General Staff confirmed the loss of the first F-16 by Ukraine. As reported by the General Staff, this happened during the repelling of a massive attack by the Russians. During the event, contact was lost with one of the aircraft on the next target. As it turned out later, the plane crashed, the pilot died, the statement said. A special commission, working in the area where the plane crashed, is intended to determine the causes of the accident. Meanwhile, the Air Force told Voice of America on condition of anonymity that various versions of the crash are currently being investigated, including friendly fire from Ukrainian air defense, technical malfunction, and pilot error. But the exact causes of the crash will only be known after the investigation is completed. Friends, this channel exists solely thanks to your support. If you have the opportunity and desire to support the channel, I will be very grateful to you. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.